Hello there, it's Governor Wildstar and
Lady Wildstar.
and we're gathered here today for a very special episode of Political Gospel. I've asked my wife to join me for this episode because, happy holiday to you all, by the way.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yay! So for those celebrating and watching this video, thank you very much for taking the time to join us, because we're going to be discussing something very important, which is universal love, and getting to the point where we can love what we hate. I know that may sound odd, but in order to really achieve what we're here destined to do as people, we must love those things that we allow to divide us and prevent us from truly accepting one another, whether it be race, whether it be gender, whether it be sexuality, sexual orientation, whatever, any type of barrier that prevents us from loving one another, even if it may be a difference in opinion. You know, there's so many issues that keep us away from loving one another fully. And that's
the reason we wear the mask.
Exactly.
We wear the mask just to symbolize, unity, a oneness. There's nothing we can really discriminate against if we all are for the same thing, because we all are one. We bleed the same blood. We're humans. We share that commonality amongst all of us. And that's where we have to, find again. Connectivity is interconnectivity amongst us all is what's going to help us solidify that love that we're looking for. Because oftentimes we always focus on what divides us instead of what reconnects us, which is love. If love didn't exist, we all wouldn't be here. So let's focus on that and the many aspects of love, and that's what will get us out of that. That's how you're able to love something you could hate. Because it's difficult to hate, but it's difficult to love something you hate, but it has to start somewhere. We have to all learn, you know what I mean? It's difficult, but it's possible. Yeah. If you truly want to make a change, instead of just complaining all day long, oh my goodness, and this is happening, why is all this happening? I'm like, well, instead of complaining, what are you going to do different? What's your stance on it? How are you going to change this? Right. If you know better, then do better.
And it starts first with us. We have to be that one person to go out in the world and make that first step, because if we're dependent upon someone else or some other savior to come into the picture to vindicate us all, then we're wrong. We have to be our own personal savior, just as we all look for a specific leader to fulfill our own desires. They're proven that they don't do that, that they haven't done that. So how can you sit back and hope that they will? There is no hope in just sitting back and waiting. There's hope in active going out into the world and being that change. There's the hope. And we want to be instruments of that hope through that universal love. And we can break down those barriers one at a time. And it's necessary for us to do so, again, in order to achieve that society to where oppression doesn't exist, or poverty doesn't exist, or, violence doesn't exist. It's in order for us to love all of those things that we disagree with. And we're going to be entitled to our own opinions, of course, but when it gets to the point to where you're trying to oppress others or have them bend to those desires, that's when it becomes more so like a tool of hurt and of pain, because you can't elect others to go out and profess these desires onto others and have them force and bend their will onto others, because that's what's happening in the world. For instance, with the driving without a license, Again, we've learned that it isn't necessary for us to exercise our right to travel with the need of a driver's license. And that may be the opinion of others, that where they feel like it may be needed in order for some people to be seen as, I guess, safe to be on the road. But as long as I'm not crashing into anybody, why would it be any concern of yours of whether I'm driving without a license or not, or should be seen as a safe driver? Not to mention, if that situation were to happen, I'm pretty sure that as long as I'm able to pay for the damages, it wouldn't be argued if I had a driver's license or not. Okay? But there's people out there that feel like a driver's license is necessary, and they are the ones, that small elected group of people, to select that politician or whatever to make that law and make it okay to go out to the rest of the world, the rest of the public, and have them force this decision onto them. And this is what we need to stop doing, people. We need to stop forcing control onto others. Again, we're entitled to our own opinions and beliefs, and I'm sure Crystal has her own, and I
noticed,
have my own.
And I noticed, like, when you try to control something, it backfires on you. I don't know if anybody had that experience. I know I have. You try to control something and force it into a shape or a hole that it can't fit in, and you force it, what's going to happen to the object? It's going to break. It can't take all that pressure, because we're meant to be a free society, a free person to flow however we want to.
Yeah,
so
like
when you're controlling that, you know what I mean, something that's free and fluid, it's not going to prosper, period. So, it's important for us to exercise our rights and be fluid in movement as far as just who you are. Realize who you are, and when you do know who you are, you won't take anything that'll try to control you, because that's not what it's about, especially if you're out there loving and just living your life. That's what life is about anyway. And when we're children, we were uninhibited. We were out there playing. You could be, a firefighter, anything you want to become. And no one could tell you any different, because you knew that. What happened when we became adults? It changed.